the chill of the season, moving in with that beautiful song. Blessings for the longest night. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon on the waves. So believe me when I tell you this blessing will reach you, even if you have not light enough to read it. It will find you, though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by your release of the breath you have held so long. A loosening of the clenching of your hands, of the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads. It knows the resting spots along the path. This blessing knows what it means to travel in the company of friends. So when this blessing comes, take its hand. Get up. Set out on the road that you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you will be walking toward the dawn. I have another wonderful song for you, Radiant Light. And it's reminding us that this blessing is within you, this light. This radiant light is always there, even in your darkest night, and it's growing. You are the radiant light.
And, as many are praising the Christ or Yeshua and the message he brought and how brilliant he was and is, may we also remember our light, as he says, these works and more you shall do. So why don't we stand? Of course, you don't have to. Feel really good. You got the words there, so please join me. I am a light. I am a light. Radiant light of God. And the sun is shining. We're holy. Let's do that again. I am a light. Radiant light of God. And the sun shining. We're holy. Don't forget who you are, full of power and light and glory. The sun shining, holy. Don't forget who you are, full of power and light and glory. The sun shining, holy. A light, I am a light, a radiant light of God. When the sun shining, holy.
It's to your own heart. Great Spirit, Spirit of this universe that creates the holy right here in our hearts. And the tinkling of the music, the snow falling. Thank you for this holy season. Thank you for our friends. Warm our hearts today as we're together. May blessings flow amongst us and even healing energies flow. And may what we accomplish here today in our ritual space be a blessing out there to all of our friends and family and even all sentient beings. May they feel the blessing that's generated here today. Oh, amen. And go around now with your blessing hands and just shake hands with a couple of people. Tell them your name and say, I'm so glad you're here.
How you doing? I'm Kurt. Doctor, nice to meet you. Hi, Al. Good to see you again.
Okay, my name is Lisa. I said that somewhere.
So much for greeting one another. There'll be more time for wonderful conversations and chatting after the service, so please stick around. And I just have to tell you that today, I'm sorry, I won't be able to stick around too long because I have to go and catch a flight right after church, so I'll be hurrying out, but please give me a few hugs and send me on my way. I'm going to visit my mother for Christmas, which I always do, so I'm excited about that. So I've asked Karen to come and read a poem for us by Rainer Maria Rilke that sets the tone, and we did need that. We did need a mic. Thank you. Oops, let's pull this over and then you can... I should have to hold it.
Happy holidays, everyone. Okay? God speaks to each of us as He makes us. I'm going to read that again. God speaks to each of us as He makes us, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You, sent out beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. God says to us, give me your hand. God says to us, give me your hand.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Rilke.
Jesse's lineage coming, as men of old have sung. It came a floweret bright amid the cold of winter, when half spent was the night. Rising was foretold, the rose I have in mind. With Mary behold it, the Virgin Mother kind, to show God's love aright. She bore to men a Savior, when half spent was the night.
We're accustomed to hearing these songs of the mother and the child, of a wonderful birth taking place. And sometimes here at Unity, we didn't do it this year, but we've had some young women walking around as if they were Mary holding the child. And then you'd look into the face of the child and there was a mirror there. And you'd realize Aletha Nowitzki's creation. Yes. She came up with that idea one year for us. And so the child, who is this child that we're celebrating? We are celebrating the Christ child that was born so many years ago, but we're also celebrating that birth of the Christ consciousness within you. As I was researching Christmas sermons this year, I was amazed at how many of them just only emphasize the birth of the Christ so many years ago. And they do talk about being reborn, but they don't really talk about the fact of this Christ consciousness being born in us, as us, and us living out the Christ consciousness. Some ancient traditions of Christianity have brought that forth, the imago Dei, like the image of God, the image of the divine in us. On Christmas, we hear the word Emmanuel, Emmanuel, and some people name their babies Emmanuel. And you know what that word means, right? God with us. God is with us, Emmanuel. And when we think about what that means for our Unity group here and all over the planet, some of us are agnostics, some of us Jews, some of us Christians, or we aspire to act like Christ. Some are Buddhist, Muslim, pagan, and more. Some of us are other, don't want to be identified as anything. So, Emmanuel, God with us. God is with us in all those forms of who us is, of who we are. So on this Christmas and winter solstice celebration, we gather under the big tent of Unity, this mixed neighborhood in which many of us have taken sanctuary with a mixture of relief and joy. We lovingly proclaim, all are welcome here, and all means all. Even me. Even you. Here at Unity, we use the word G-O-D carefully. You know, like Jewish people, sometimes they put a space between the G and the D, symbolizing that we're talking about a great mystery that cannot be named with a single word. However, having gathered the best of humans' wisdom about G blank D from all over the world, we do proclaim that God is love. So at Christmas, when we hear the word Emmanuel, God with us, it's like love is with us. What if we really believed that, really believed that God, this great love, is with us always, in all ways, in every place. What good news, what good news. Comfort ye my people, is the gift of this holy Christmas season. So our next song, as you might imagine, leading into What Child Is This? What Child Is This? If you know it, you can feel free to chime in with it.
So following up on that image of also seeing the child in us and the beauty in us, you may kind of imagine as we sing this, like cradling yourself, or this part of yourself that's just being birthed, and how beautiful. So this is in your hymnals, which we forgot to pass out. Sorry about that. But we'll sing the first. You'll probably remember it. We'll sing it on Ooh first, the melody. We'll sing a couple verses and join me if you wish.
During this holy season, it is a perfect time to enter into a deeper quietness. We can remember that by turning within, we can find a peace again. We find the deep stillness of the winter solstice. We find the joyfulness of the Christ message. We find many, many blessings. We find the true gems of Christmas. Right now, if you will, I'd love for you to go into some silence with us, with one another, So allow yourself to get a little more comfortable in your chair. Take just a moment to set a conscious intention to let go of all that busyness of the holiday season, all of that running around we've been doing to get ready. And right now, open a space for quietness and calmness, for meditation and prayer. So as we begin this meditation, I invite you to take a deep, refreshing breath, breathing in and then letting it all out. You can even make a sound if you want to. A sigh, release. Oh, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, letting it all out. Oh, in the quietness of your own being, let's remember the powerful words of our master teacher Jesus when he said, "Peace, be still. Peace, be still. My peace I give unto you, not as the world gives, give I unto you. I give you a peace that passes understanding." Allow yourself to breathe in the tranquility of this silence. Deep breath in, a sigh, and breathing out. As Richard continues to play this beautiful music for us, let's enter into a few moments of exquisite quietness with one another, the depths of our souls. Be in the peace. Be the peace. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on us. Fall fresh on us this holy season. May we be walking temples of your peace. May we be filled with this deep inner communion, knowing that you are present, that you are with us, Emmanuel. May we be a radiant light of hope to those around us as we go to our families and our friends. May we exude this peace. May we hold your hand and radiate love and deep peace to all around us. This is our prayer. This is our prayer. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yes. I've asked Anya to come and read a poem by Hermann Hesse, good old Hermann Hesse. You read some of his books? He was a poet too, you know. And there's a wonderful poem about going into the stillness and the silence.
Good morning.
in the bleak winter. Sometimes when a bird cries out or the wind sweeps through a tree, I hold still and listen for a long time. My soul turns and goes back to the place where 1,000 forgotten years ago, the bird and the blowing wind were like me, and were my brothers, one. Then, changed and awed, my soul comes home and asks me questions. What should I reply? What should I reply? It is not that birds speak, but that we learn silence. It is not that birds speak, but that we learn silence.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. And some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger and endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower and dew, its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies a seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Because this is such a favorite song of mine, I wonder if you'd be willing to stand and sing it again if you know it, or just let the words of it bathe over you and let it be a blessing. Let it flow as a blessing in our lives, this beautiful reminder of what's happening beneath the snows of our lives.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed.
come. In this leading up to the Christmas season, I haven't been feeling very much peace myself. I've been really busy getting the Circle of Trust Center opened up and ministering to Unity folks and others who are in need, and moving along steadily with plans for our Earth Temple, and lots going on with that. So there's so much good work to do. But honestly, I've been feeling kind of tired and worn out. But I was really looking forward to coming here to be with you today, and sure enough, it's working. I'm feeling refreshed and generated and touched by love. So in pondering the topic of the talk today, I always get ministered to that way too, because it makes me have to think a lot and go deep within and see what's there to bring out, So as I was thinking about this, how to find Christmas peace in the midst of all that goes on in this season, the words came to me, what about the message from the manger? The message from the manger. So I started thinking about a manger. Now, if you were actually living in a manger, it might not be that easy to feel Christmas peace. A manger is not really like a very attractive place to hang out. It's a rough-hewn trough where animals feed, and there's straw and dirt and manure. It's not a comfortable, cozy bed. It's not an ideal place for a mother to give birth, and it's not an ideal place for a father to help his wife bring forth the baby. The manger represents a circumstance or a situation that is challenging in our lives. Not the best situation to bring something forth in. It doesn't feel great. It's not ideal. How many of you have manger-like situations going on in your life right now? About 10? Oh, 10? 10 of you? Okay. The manger can come in lots of forms, just think about it. Things happen, unexpected health diagnoses, even memories of happy Christmases past and those loved ones no longer with us, or memories of painful Christmases past, or painful unresolved things that might come up with your family or loved ones. A manger can come in lots of ways, like maybe a loved one, or maybe you yourself are dealing with an addiction, or maybe you're facing a difficult decision that you don't want to make. Or maybe you don't have a safe home to be in, or a job that you want. Or maybe some accident has happened, a car accident or something that's taken something from you. But probably every one of us has some kind of situation where we're not necessarily feeling that Christmassy or that peaceful. So finding peace in the manger. The manger place is where we're not feeling the joy and the satisfaction. On the way over here, ironically, I happened to have the radio on, and there was a rap singer on there, and he was saying, I don't know if they were interviewing about Christmas or what, but he was saying, I just feel happy all the time because I was in poverty and now I've got wealth, and I always wondered if wealthy people were happy, and now I'm happy all the time, and I just really like myself. And I thought, well, good for him. Happy for him. But I just have a little doubt about if he was really being authentic. I don't know. He must have some kind of manger situation in his life. I don't know. But how paradoxical that comfort and joy are the gifts that we're told come from the manger. I bring you good tidings of great comfort and joy. A babe is wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. How can we receive this comforting gift from the manger today? Well, as I thought about it, I think there might be a couple of things that we could zero in on. One of them is acceptance. So we've been talking throughout our time together here about accepting ourselves as the radiant light of Christ that we are. But we also have to accept everything that we're going through. We sometimes have a hard time accepting certain things about ourselves in our lives. We get hurt by what someone did or said, and then we can go into a downward spiral of sad feelings about them, about ourselves, we sometimes end up fighting against who we are. Like, why do I have to be this way? Or why do they have to be this way? But that's what makes it more difficult when we resist, when we fight, when we argue with it or argue with God. Now I can understand how Joseph and Mary could have gotten into a screaming tizzy over their situation. Can't you? But instead, it seems like, from what we read, that they are amazing examples of acceptance of what their lives dished out. She came to accept something that was greater than she thought she could ever do. Mary, you will bring forth a child that will change everything. So maybe her first thought was, hey, maybe that means I'll get to give birth to this baby in a castle or a mansion or something. No. It was a manger. And then Joseph, too, a man who was betrothed to a beautiful young woman that he thought was a virgin, he was probably imagining quite a different path for his life of honor and respect in the community. But then he was told in a dream to take this young pregnant girl and love her and marry her, no questions asked. He didn't punish her or hold resentments or stay grumpy. He went within and came to accept what he was told to do. Then on top of this strange, challenging situation of her pregnancy, at the last minute they were commanded by the empire to travel 120 miles from Nazareth to Bethlehem on foot and with a donkey. So hear this again. 9 months pregnant. What would you have said? No way, Jose. But they did it. They accepted it. And when they got there, the husband was worried that, she was 9 months pregnant. She might be going into labor any minute. And she must have been worried as they knocked on all the doors. And they heard, no room at the inn. No room. Okay, God. Acceptance again. I don't know about you, but after I've been on a long donkey ride, I need a plump cushion mattress and room service. But they accepted this manger as the place to rest. And not only to rest, but to go into labor and have a baby. She made this manger a holy place. They found great peace through acceptance. They accepted who they were and the situation as it was, and they accepted simultaneously the great thing that they were to do. They didn't forget that they were called to birth a very special child, even though it wasn't a manger. They held the paradox of Christmas, even in that moment. How are you doing at accepting what is yours to do? The manger scenes are part of what you came here to do. It's a part of the difference that you were made to make. Like that poem that Karen read said, God made you in the darkness and then said, take my hand, here we go. So the manger scenes are part of the great thing that you came here to do, to birth. For peace to happen, we need acceptance. We call Mary and Joseph holy people for the way they accepted it all, yet a theologian named Brennan Manning said, holiness is not a personal achievement, it's an emptiness. Holiness is an emptiness that you discover in yourself. Instead of resenting it, you accept it. And it becomes the free space where God can create anew. Well, for years I translated God as love, for the Bible tells us to do that. 1 John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. The greatest gift that a parent could give is their child to the world, to us. So we do proclaim always, God is love, God is love. Yet recently I've become interested in trying out the word possibility where we put love. Try this on. God is love, is possibility. In this Brennan Manning quote again. So holiness is not a personal achievement. It's an emptiness you discover in yourself. Instead of resenting it, this emptiness, you accept it. And it becomes the free space where possibility can create anew. That's nice, huh? Possibility can create anew. Let's try on the possibilities of love, the possibilities of justice, the possibilities of peace. And how about the word holiness here in this quote? The Anglo-Saxon word hal or hale means whole. Holiness. That which yields wholeness and health. That which yields wholeness and health. Doesn't that sound like a birthing process? So holiness, that which births wholeness and health. Holiness, this holy emptiness inside of us, this God-shaped space that sometimes we are in such a hurry to fill it up with things that we can grasp around us. Letting this holy space just be, this space of possibility. The manger is that space of all possibility, the holy place. Got a little story for you about a man named Robert May. He didn't have an ideal childhood. He was kind of short, and he grew up around a lot of boys that were tough. And they kind of picked on him. And when he grew up, he just wanted to have a job off in a corner somewhere by himself because he really didn't like hanging out with people all that much. So he got a kind of solo job. He worked at Montgomery Ward's in a little back office being a copy editor. Well, he found a woman to love, Evelyn, and he was very happy. And they had a baby girl. And for a little while, they lived a pretty idyllic life. But then Evelyn got cancer. And when she was only 4, his dear wife died. When the baby was only 4, his dear wife died. And he was left with a great wondering as how he was going to take care of this little baby and make her happy. They lived in a little 2-room apartment in Chicago. He was a loving dad, and he found some of the neighborhood women to come and help him take care of his little girlie. But at night, he loved being with her after he got home from work, and he would make up these goofy stories and songs about this little animal. And that was his Christmas gift for his little girl, that he made these stories into a little book. And he took it to work with him one day, and all the people there really liked it. And lo and behold, the manager of his Montgomery Wards decided to print it up and hand it out to the customers. Well, the next year, they decided to hand it out to a lot more customers, and it went viral. Hard copy back in those days, all over to all the Montgomery Wards. So they asked him to sell his rights to Montgomery Wards so that they could print it all up and pass it out in all their stores, and over 1 million copies went out that year. Well, the manager was a good man at Montgomery Wards, and when he saw how popular the story and the song was that Robert had made up, he gave the rights back to him. And this little story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, did go down in history and made Mr. May and his daughter very happy and wealthy. So Robert was in his manger, and he accepted and kept creative in the midst of his difficult situation. I imagine he didn't go running all around complaining about it. He just got creative with it. So we can find creativity in the manger. We can find peace in the manger. And another way that we do it is through stillness. Not really through doing something more or getting more stuff or trying to solve it, or knocking on more doors to find the right in. Surely there's got to be some in out there we can stay in. No, at a certain point you've just got to accept it is the manger. It's the manger. That's where we've got to rest. In the grace that is present even there. The winter solstice darkness growing time tells us humans that there is a necessary season for slowing down and yes, even just stopping. For a deeper stillness. The phrase, "there's no room at the inn," reminds us that a Christ person cannot be birthed in a crowded place, or a crowded mind for that matter. Any real change or improvement or birthing of the new in our lives happens in the darkness, in the invisible realms inside, in the still place where we can hear God's voice. That's where the true change happens in nature. The seed underground, the cocoon of the butterfly, the flower underneath the winter snow that becomes the rose. There's a natural genius inspiration in the blueprint of your life. There's a natural genius inspiration in the blueprint of your life to spring forth in its right timing. But sometimes we think we've got to rush it a little. And we get all busy to try to make ourselves have a happier life, not wanting to be in the manger spaces. But really the key is in the stillness. Enter into thine inner chamber, Myrtle Fillmore said. Be still and listen. Be still and know that I am God. She entered into her inner chamber for 6 months because she was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and told that she was going to die and have to leave her children. But 6 months later, she came out completely healed. And the doctor said there was no way. So miracles come out of the stillness. The Christ consciousness is born deep, deep in our innermost beings. Jesus said, come apart and rest for a while. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Be still and listen to the still small voice. Listen to the emptiness of all possibility, of love. When we become still, then the darkness becomes a fruitful darkness. There our relationship to silence can deepen. In the fruitful darkness, there are other gifts to open, gifts we haven't even thought of yet. In the book of Isaiah, God says, I will give you the treasures of darkness and riches hidden in secret places. I will give you the treasures of darkness and riches hidden in secret places. So when we have received those treasures, those hidden riches in this holiday season, then it will be time to begin the journey back to the light, back, forward, to joy. To joy. So my beloved spiritual companions, you who bring me so much joy, in the last of the light, in the silence of these darker days, let us journey together in opening our minds and hearts and hands to the treasures of the fruitful darkness. Especially, let us receive the gifts of acceptance, of silence, and of emptiness, right in the midst of the mangers of our lives. And when we emerge in the brighter days, as we surely will, let us remember that so much depends upon our sharing this joy. I'd like you to just be in the silence for a moment again. And in this season, we can't be too much in the silence, so I just like to punctuate our time once more. This idea of the fruitful silence. We'll just have you sit for a few moments in complete silence. Feel the emptiness in your own heart space. Feel the manger there. And know that something is being born in you now, this season. Get in touch with what that child, that beautiful Christ child might look like in you, and give it a little extra love right now in this fecund, fruitful silence. Amen. So it is. I believe we're going to have the offering now. It's a chance to, as we did earlier, bless this community, bless this holy container. Thank you for bringing all of those gifts of warm clothes up earlier, and now's your chance to gift green stuff that helps our organism go on and bless many people each week. So Thank you for taking the offering. And Donna, what treat do you have for us during the offering?
We have a little improvisation based on what Norma was talking about. Feel free to stand. You'll know where to join in. And give it up for Heather and Richard. In 2015, this was their last time at Unity. Give it up. And Donna. I've got peace in the manger. I've got peace. Oh yeah, I've got peace in the manger. I've got peace. Yeah, sure. I've got peace in the manger. There is no more danger. I got peace in the manger. I've got peace. It's the time of the season. You don't need a reason, no, to give somebody you do know or don't know some love. It's time to believe everything about love. It's time to give it up for the holiday. Here we go. I got peace in the manger. I got peace. I've got peace in the manger. I've got peace. Everybody else. I've got peace in the manger. Oh, you know we couldn't get much stranger. I've got peace in the manger. I've got peace. And here's some wise words. Do da da do ba de. Wa ba de da do da de. Squaba a di da a do da do. Ho 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 ho. Squaba ba di da ba da da do do da ba di da do do ba de do da do do ba de do do do. I expect you to remember that. I've got grace in the manger. I've got grace. I've got grace in the manger. I've got grace. I've got grace in the manger. Don't you know there's no more danger? I've got grace in the manger. I've got grace. I've got grace in the manger. I've got grace.
You really make us feel it, Donna. Thank you. Let's feel this divine energy flowing through us as we rub our hands together and feel the chi energy. To bless our offering, we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So it is. Thank you.
So we have 2 songs in the big circle. You might want to bring your word sheet with you. And Roy corrected me on something. We're going to sing White Christmas, which Norma said, why don't we do White Christmas? And I thought, oh, I love that song, so I hope you like it too. But Irving Berlin actually wrote it. Bing Crosby was the artist, I believe. So thank you for that, Roy. And then we're going to end with Let There Be Peace on Earth. We usually sing it in the affirmative. Yes, there is peace on earth. And we haven't done that in a long time, and we thought that would be fun. So let's get in a big old circle and sing together.
Come along, right along here.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. What does that mean to you, white Christmas?
Over here.
Of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten Merry Christmas. And let's affirm peace on earth right now.
Let's just picture our earth. First of all, I like to start with picturing our Ashland community and spread it out to Medford, Grants Pass, Klamath Falls, our whole Road Valley. And then picture like a Google map just spreading out, and we can see the whole earth there. And let's sing this song about having peace on earth to bless our wonderful earth at this time. There's something special that happens in the Christmas season, and let's imagine it happening right now.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to